point of view is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is ex Nanotech founder and turned business mentor, no other than Mr. Roman Lewcke.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Book
I'm really
101.
honored to be on your show.
Yes, welcome to
Thank
Book
you so much.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Roman. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, again, I'm really honored to be on your show. I saw your podcast is a high-ranking podcast with a lot of listeners, and also I love the topic you're doing here. You're highlighting inspiration books, and because books are so important, I think in the so it always have been, but more so in the age of social media. And so, as you already mentioned, I'm a entrepreneur. I'm a founder. I was a nanotech entrepreneur. I created my first company in 2008 in Mexico. I'm from Germany originally, immigrated to Mexico when I was very young, 19, got started with my first company in 2008. And that was then a 13-year journey that ended up in a bankruptcy during the pandemic. I lost everything, all of it. And then I had to leave Mexico because I was literally left with nothing to my name other than my a piece of luggage, and I had to reinvent myself. Got back to Germany, where I'm from, for just 2 months, and then I said, okay, so you're either gonna have to take a job or you start something new. And taking a job was just not me, and so I started something new. I used my took my last money, booked a flight to Thailand, and then so for the last 3 years, I've been on this digital nomad journey, and I was lost, like really lost. Had not I thought I also had lost sort of my purpose. Didn't really know what I was doing, and so I had to rediscover the purpose. And now I started writing over a year and a half ago, like in end of 2023. Started my newsletter with the name of The Uncharted Road, very indicative of the like not knowing where I was headed. So not yeah, so I didn't really know why I was just it was just a sort of a trauma response, therapeutic measure. And well, that evolved into what it is now. And now I'm basically building a new agency for a ghostwriting agency for founders, marketing through newsletters, and a lead generation agency. And my own newsletter is about other founders. I interview other founders, and what I call my podcast as well is grew out of that new pivot of this turn into founder stories, where I highlight their struggles, their hardships, how they overcame their difficult moments and got to the other side, so that they can share a story which is inspiring. It should be inspiring. It should be some story. Those are stories about transformation and resilience, and it's all about, the idea is to encourage men, because I really believe that men in 2025 do not get enough encouragement. There's a lot of negativity around the concept of masculinity and how to be a good man, and how to sort of embody a positive masculinity. And so a lot of this comes from, and this, I'm not judging it, it's just a reality. A lot of this comes from the identity we have linked to our what we do. Men especially, we are very much we're very much I noticed that when I lost everything, because it wasn't about the money that I lost. It was more about that feeling of, now, if I was a CEO before, what am I now, right? So am I still a person now, or what? And so a lot of men have this. That's why there's suicide. I believe it's that is a reason why so many men kill themselves at rates 5, 6 times higher than women because they have sometimes they just lose their purpose. I think that's what I believe. I'm not able to back this up, but that's my so the idea of the podcast and what I do now is encourage men to to rise above the occasion when shit hits the fan, and then just do better.
Do better indeed, Mr. Roman Binder or Lefkow. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So let's talk about overcoming obstacles, how men can build confidence, freedom, and momentum. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I think there is really only one way to build any of those qualities you just mentioned, and that is the truth of that is that it's only through struggle. So you can't really get better at anything unless you face hardship and difficulties. And so there's really one way forward, which is you only have the choice to which road is it going to be, right? So I'm of the I'm of the of the belief that it's always it's you should take some serious risk, because the biggest risk the biggest risk is that you you didn't end up doing what you were supposed to do. Like, that's really the biggest risk in life. When if you ask people on their deathbed what they regret the most, it's always that they didn't have the courage to do what they wanted to do, right? So taking risk is really not, it's like the I think it's the so that's the road to anything, to competence, to confidence, to resilience, to you gotta choose your battles wisely. But yeah, and there's since this is a interview about books, I would suggest, uh, to me, the best books are about, not so much about business tactic or strategy, or like, you can, I mean, there's a lot of great books out there on that, like the Peter Drucker is an inspiring figure, or um, um, there is also this thinking fast, thinking slow by Daniel Kahneman, which is also really it's great insights. But I was always drawn more to the personal development side of things, and even spirituality. A book that has guided me a lot. It has allowed me to let go of the baggage, the emotional baggage. Was I've got two books that really had an amazing impact on my journey, especially in times of loneliness, which is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. Those two, I've embraced those in moments of pain, and they allowed me to um, to let go, basically, of, because that's what you need, right? When in times of when things go sideways, you need to be able to focus on the now and what you have in control, what you can do. And no amount of tactics and strategy will get you going in that moment. You need something else to hold on to. uh
Let it go,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Let it go, people.
yeah.
And Mr. Roman, beautifully articulated. Very well said. How do you define true confidence, freedom, and momentum, specifically in the context of men overcoming life obstacles?
How do you define freedom and
Confidence.
confidence? Well, freedom is a choice. So, and confidence comes from experience. So freedom, you can choose to be you for in order to be free and have freedom for yourself, you need to be courageous, meaning that you have to be willing to look stupid for a long time, probably. You have to be willing to go through situations that are not pleasant, and you have to be able to delay your gratification a lot. So freedom is not freedom is often confused and conflated with like the ability to do everything you want. It's not true. Freedom is actually, I think, real true freedom built on rigid schedule. Like it's when you're able to set your habits. Like you have a routine that is actually pretty strict, that allows you to say no to a ton of things. That's how you achieve freedom, because now you're building something meaningful by not allowing distractions into your life. More important than ever today in 2025, and over the long run, if you're disciplined, and because freedom comes from discipline, comes from courage, comes from having a clear vision for yourself. Clarity is also part of it. Clarity, you need all of those things to achieve freedom. Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want to do. I think a lot of people confuse that. Freedom is when you have the peace of mind of doing what you always meant, what you were meant to do, right? So it's purpose driven. It's a thing, for me, to me at least. And confidence comes from experience, just doing your reps, right? Doing it again and again and becoming better at that, and then achieving confidence through practice. And competence is also, those are all, I mean, while this is not it's not exclusive for masculinity, like it's not only, but those are definitely masculine traits, like competence and discipline and vision and problem solving and focus. Those are all masculine traits, not exclusively. Women can also have those traits, but men are going after those traits a lot more. They're willing to take more, to endure more. I would argue they're willing to endure more struggle because their identity is so. Because what I said at the beginning, because men identify themselves so much with the status they can acquire, which again, I'm not judging or if it's good or bad. It's just the reality, because women um, are not as much defined by that as men are, and so we abide by those rules, and we behave in a certain way. So yeah, so that was my answer.
Mr. Herman, what was the most common mental block or self limiting belief you see holding men back from building confidence, and how can they start dismantling it?
Well, that's a great question. I think the best way to tackle this problem, because it's not going to go away any completely. We all have these self-limiting beliefs popping up in our minds. We don't. The reason for that is because our mind is a tool that, if not used properly, it will malfunction a lot. Like this is something that Eckhart Tolle, in the book that I mentioned, talks about a lot. It's actually pretty crazy what our mind tells us. So I had a podcast guest just a few weeks ago. So one of the things, never believe your own thoughts when you're in a bad state, right? Never. It's almost always lies. So there's a lot of things you need awareness to be able to cut through those. I mean, this is this isn't easy. This is a lifelong task. Meditation is one way to go. Meditation allows you to 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 be just a few seconds faster in detecting when negativity runs the show, right? So because we all get those negative emotions and thoughts. Emotions are triggered by those thoughts. It's this mind body thing that's going on, and it's often such a, it's almost immediately we have a negative thought, a perception about ourselves, and immediately feel the negative impact of it, and we don't even know that it was just a thought that ran through our mind. And so by meditation, you just might get better at detecting, okay, that was a negative thought. This is not actually true what I just had in my mind. This is not you have to question yourself. You need to be this is again a lifelong ability. It's something you acquire through thousands of hours of meditation, and also not putting like toxins in your body. Like there's also a thing like nutrition and how you nourish yourself, and what you eat. This is all, everything you do, the habits you have an impact on your overall being. And so the better you treat yourself, the easier you can overcome those inner those blocks that don't allow you to be your best version of yourself.
The best version indeed, Mr. Roman. Beautifully articulated. As a business mentor, what are your short term and long term goals?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat it, please?
As a business mentor, what are your short term and long term goals?
So, my long term goal is where I would start by articulating that, because I'm rooted in this is a personal thing for me, because as I said, I lost my company. I had to I'm rebuilding my life based on what happened. Um, so pain has become my purpose. This is actually not a quote of myself. This is a quote of Louis Huckstep, who I interviewed a few weeks ago, which is I found so inspiring. Pain becomes purpose. So my purpose is really just because when we are self absorbed and always focusing on ourselves, this is not a good state to be in to find yourself in. So what I'm doing is helping other founders to go through, use use their struggles to fuel another vision, because you can use that, and then those are great stories. That's the bottom line, is that people tend to look away from those painful moments, but they're actually great stories. So we can use them and scale our journey by using those, because those are where the lessons are found. And so what I do is content marketing through newsletters, now in talking about in a more tangible, practical way, pragmatic. And I help founders in the long run to leave a footprint, an impact through this newsletter marketing tool, through using authentic communication, their stories, and in building lead magnets with what they offer, with their personal story. Because people buy from people connect to people. We don't connect to AI or systems. We connect to people. So your story, your founder journey, is actually inspiring to other people, because a lot of people find themselves in the same situation. We all have, one of the things that I've noticed in my podcast, in my short podcast history, is that struggle is so common. Everyone has a struggle, right? So but we only focus on those real highlights. Like we always post the stuff that everyone like is like sort of, we compare ourselves to the beautiful perfect life everyone tries to display on social media, but it's not the real gold. The real gold is found in the struggles, in the hardship, when the shit hits the fan. So that's why I'm focusing on, and that's also where the lessons are, right? So why not use them and embrace it?
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Roman. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a mentor as well as a podcast host?
For those of you who want to be a mentor and a podcast host, well, those are two different things. But um, to be a mentor, you just have to be first of all, you have to be a very good listener and understand the other person, and in order to understand your potential client, you have to have a track record of being that person yourself, right? Because one of the easiest ways to detect, well, this is a problem, because when people try to be people that, like, never take advice from a financial advice from someone broke, right? Or don't never take advice from a fitness guru that has a shitty body, a physique, right? So in order to be a good mentor, you should first work on like getting the reps and experience you try to talk about, and that can take a long time. So because there's a lot of, let's be honest, there's a lot of gurus and life coaches out there who do not have the qualification or competence to teach people anything, scammers. And so yeah, don't be one of those. My first advice. And for the podcast, I'm not also this is a where I'm not qualified because I've got only 13 episodes on my belt right now, but I'm fascinated by the journey. I love it. I'm getting a lot of reward, but just by getting those connections to inspiring people, which then fill my funnel, by the way, because those people that I'm talking to, those founders, they also happen to be my ideal, my ICP, my ideal customer profile. But also, it's again, I really much, I don't think I'm gonna quit my podcast because I have so many people
I think Mr. Roman is
with.
disconnected. Let's see.
Sorry,
I think you're some
sorry.
5 minutes disconnected, Mr. Roman. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead for your
Oh, sorry. Did we just cut?
yes, just
Did,
like a seconds, I think. Not a 5 minutes, a seconds. Well, people, I think Mr. Roman is disconnected. So I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast while I'm waiting for him. My abstract essay is already in fifth season. People, fifth season abstract essay, abstract poetry in second season, as well as my comedy one, as well as my book 101 review in its fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and food 101 in its fifth season as well, geography 101 in its fourth season, and my baby podcast mental health 101 and law 101, love letters in third season, and Movie 101 review in fourth season, as well as Music 101, Science 101, and Sex 101 in first season. And please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. And of course, I want you to invite also to please listen to my one of my audiobooks. So,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Roman, while
Sorry, I was.
no worries at all. No worries. While I'm waiting for you, I'm inviting our listeners to please do grab a copy of my audiobooks, people. My audiobooks, Book 101 Review Volume 1, highly recommended. Book 101 Review Volume 3, and Book 101 Review Volume 2, selected. And of course, my climate change book, Earth Fever, Unraveling Climate, and Our Race to Restore Balance. And my self-help books, Thread of Existence, Weaving the Tapestry of Life. Life is too short, a journey of discovery, fulfillment, and joy. Stand tall, stand together, breaking the chains of bullying. Please do listen to them on Audible because one of the bestsellers. And please support me because more and more and more audiobooks to come. So, Mr. Roman, as my final question, and good luck to your goals, and thank you for your advice. Ultimately, what impact does a man successfully overcoming obstacles and building confidence, freedom, momentum have not just on his own life, but potentially on his family, community, or future generations?
What impact
Yeah,
have achieving those goals for
yeah,
his
for
own
building
life?
confidence.
Well, I guess that question is no. It sounds sort of obvious, but probably maybe it isn't. So I would argue that when you achieve this state of confidence, which is what it is, it's like a state, and it's a perceived freedom, then you are overall. I think happiness is a consequence of it, and
Yes,
happiness, it's a fleeting thing. But if you choose to listen to your inner voice and the confidence, the purpose, that the thing that you're meant to be, because I'm a believer that we all have a purpose, and it can be lost and can be rediscovered, but it's always there. There's always something we ought to do. We ought to do. So if you go that road and you don't get distracted, then a consequence is you're just an overall positive human being, and this everyone around you is benefits from that. Not just yourself. Everyone is impacted by the positive qualities that you acquire just by becoming a better person. Like, and this includes kindness and being a a generous human being. And if you can, so one of the most underrated skills I think that exists is that if someone really goes through some difficult trauma and hardship and gets to the other side still being a kind human being, like kindness in despite, because you can become bitter, right, through,
Yes.
you can easily get on a road of nihilism and bitterness and because a lot of people are on that side of they're choosing blaming others for their own insufficiency, and you can, and when you do that, then you become bitter and unhappy, and you become, and so the impact is obviously the opposite. And it's a choice, right? So we can choose. We always have a choice. We can choose a good, better, to do better, react in a way, in a more positive way, and take those. I mean, if we're dealt the cards we are dealt in our life, we can still, we always have the choice to react and to do something, choose a reaction that is more conducive to a better life.
Mr. Roman Lewcke, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, as well as your recommended books. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy as well as your business?
Yeah, so I invite the listeners to check, oh, there's, oh, okay, I invite the listeners to join my nomad dot the nomad.ceo newsletter, where I publish every Friday, and now starting this week also on Wednesdays. So it's kind of 2 founder stories per week. And I also start sharing behind the scenes how we help founders to get traction and to build their businesses.
Yes,
It's
people,
no,
let's support Mr. Roman Lewcke, because if you support him, more and more and more empowering business to come. So, Mr. Roman, thank you so much for your time.
thank you for having me. Have a great success with your podcast. I love it.
Yes, people, thank you so much, Mr. Roman. More to come, people. See you soon.
Have a good one. Bye.